day like any other unfolds in Ottawa. And at the Peace Tower, that means one flag is lowered and a new one is raised. It's a daily ritual. But this day is different. Guess who's going up to the top to make it all happen?
Où est-ce qu'on s'en va, là, les mignons?
These kids and their father, just hours from becoming Canada's 23rd Prime Minister. Remember your first time going up, sir?
No, I think my dad made us take the stairs because the bells in the tower. Because he didn't want to cut in line in front of the tourists who were visiting, so he made us go up the stairs, which was fun.
Finally.
All the way from the bottom, all the way up?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it was fine on my dad, fine on us. Probably a challenge for the RCMP guards or the staff following us. Wow.
Is there anything special about the new flag?
What's that?
Is there anything special about the new flag? In terms of family history, anything, or is it just a new flag?
Just a new flag. Every flag is special in this country. Okay. Oh yeah.
And so starts the day for Justin Trudeau and the making of 23.
Voulez-vous venir voir le bureau de papa? Oui. Okay.
Next up, into his new Parliament Hill office, home to prime ministers before him, now his on this, day one.
Voici le bureau de papa. Ça, c'était le bureau de grand-papa Pierre aussi.
You remember this?
Oh, it's totally different from when it was as a kid. It was lighter walls, less dark when my dad was here. But there was a secret panel with a hidden TV behind there that isn't there anymore, that I know.
There used to be some kind of secret staircase too?
That's in the opposition, the OLO, yeah. No, those are just closets. Book shelves.
Sometimes when you go from childhood to adulthood, things that you thought were big look much smaller.
Yeah, but this, it's fairly big.
Bigger than the last one, I guess.
Bigger than the last one. I've never been one for big offices anyway. It just give me a space to work and I'm fine. So I'll spend a lot of time out of this office anyway.
You enjoy that? That was fun, eh?
Yeah. Now we know what's up at the top of the Peace Tower.
Minutes later, jeans off, shirt and tie on, and a meeting with his senior staff to map out the day.
Day one. God, I just can't believe I'm getting people. Someone asked me last night if I was nervous about today. I'm impatient. I mean, we've had 2 weeks of preparations and sort of getting things into place, and now finally we get to work, which is going to be fun. But to do it surrounded by people the way we got elected is the right thing. So,
in terms of your media interactions today, so we have put out the advisory for cabinet outs later today. Mm-hmm. You won't be doing cabinet outs, but you do have the scrum at Rideau Hall. So that's
okay. So that's slightly different because we had thought maybe that I'd do the outs myself, but we decided showcase the team.
Yeah,
and I already had a thing, right?
Exactly, and you will have had we've booked like 15 minutes for your scrum at Rideau Hall.
Okay.
And it may go a little bit longer than that at that point. So we'll have you, it's right in front of the fountain, you've got your team behind you, and then behind that is the big facade of Rideau Hall. So it's a great shot, it's not standard.
It's like quite frankly, I mean, this is, that scrum, I don't have, the scrum's going to be mostly on the cabinet. Cause they're going to ask me about a whole bunch of things that we haven't decided yet because cabinet's this afternoon, right? So that's why I was thinking the cabinet outs might make more sense for my scrum. But if we can get the cabinet to do it, and then I'll just answer whatever questions they have as best we. I mean, they know I'm not going to have a lot of direct answers, but I'll do what I can.
We have one other small announceable today in terms of the return of the House, which I've talked to Dominic this morning about doing at Cabinet Outs. We can talk about whether or not. I mean, I think it's an open question as to, is that the first question he gets when he gets to the podium?
Yeah, it'll probably
It probably is.
But so. I like the idea of saying, yes, we're looking at a return in early December, but I want to confirm it with Cabinet before we give an official announcement. We can give it to you right after Cabinet.
Excellent.
And I think that's both consistent and it's open with...
And re-establishing the tradition of ministers, the media knowing when Cabinet is taking place, which sounds like an axiomatic thing, but it is. And re-establishing their access to the public officials that you appointed and interaction with.
Now, how is the response on doing it down in the foyer? Just so that I think that's
it's just more orderly for everybody.
Well, exactly, and like I want ministers to go out there so they can all be there, but just too productive.
You have a lot to talk about on your
Oh yeah, no. I have
gender parity is
huge
today. You've got some historic, like literally in terms of breaking ceilings and things, ministers that you're appointing. You should, because there's no statement earlier, right? So that is your opportunity to talk about all of that.
Everybody's lined up in 5 rows of 6. And there's good gender balance and all of that.
Good.
That was one other thing I was going to raise on the scrum was the gender parity argument that has been happening.
It just frustrates me so. I mean, like the people think they can still get away with the arguments that they're making now against this.
I think just calling people's attention to the year is all you really need to say.
So, it would be best if you took a couple of seconds off the top just to set the table for the scrum. They're expecting that as well, so a quick opening statement
about the team, about the work we have to do, about change, about the extraordinary people who stepped up to serve. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, in my mind, you guys heard me a few times throughout the campaign saying, I got this. Right now, they got this, right? I mean, that's the sense I have now. I like these people on Parliament Hill is a big deal.
And connecting them to the Canadians that are going to be all around, that are already lining up there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Every hotel room in the city is booked.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So if we talked about building a team, building a plan, so team, now they go implement the plan. I think there's a nice parallel there.
Okay, good. And then the questions that'll come and sort of more policy stuff, whether it's Syria or anything. I mean, listen, these are things that we're going to start discussing in Cabinet, and the ministers will have things to say about that in the coming weeks, because they're going to be seized with a lot of very important files. But this isn't going to be a one-man government, and they're
Let me tell you more about those ministers.
Let me tell you. Okay, there's the pivot. How much time do I have to work now?
You've got about 15 minutes. 20 minutes?
Okay.
Should be an okay day.
It'll be an excellent day.
Before we leave his office, I spot something near his desk. It's a pen, an old one, that once belonged to Sir Wilfrid Laurier. So the story of the Laurier pen is what?
Well, the Laurier pen has been passed on from leader to leader for a few years now, and we've had a lot of leaders over the past few years. But the idea is that this was Wilfrid Laurier's pen, and we've now returned it to the Prime Minister's office.
First time it's been back.
First time it's been back in the Prime Minister's office in a long while. Starting in a couple of weeks.
Time to head to Rideau Hall for the swearing in, and the walk to the car takes us down the hallway reserved for former Prime Ministers' portraits.
Oh, I have a lot of work to do.
Earlier today, you touched the frame.
Aujourd'hui, il va passer à nous, on va passer à lui. Let's go. I don't know, I'm not a superstitious person, but the first time I walked past this picture on the way back from the speech from the throne after I got elected in 2008, I just touched the frame. So I did it again this morning. For me, the big moment today, well, you saw it a couple hours ago when we put up the I put up the flag. Now I know that I put up the flag that will be flying at the moment that I became Prime Minister, and that's very cool. Are we wearing the same tie?
That'll never
slightly
work.
different color.
I'm going to take a lot of crap for that.
I just can't wait to see the cabinet.
Oh,
I can't
really quite
wait to
something.
get there and see everyone, and so I've met with them all individually, but seeing them all as a group is going to be fairly awesome.
And they're seeing each other for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you handle all this? Like what comes with the job? The limo, the arm, bulletproof, bomb-proof, whatever it is. How do you handle that? Because that's not you.
No, but it's on a certain extent, to a certain level, I take it as a reminder of the responsibility in the office that I now hold. That it's bigger than me because it's not me, not in my natural inclinations. It is something that is broader than that. This is this office that I now hold, this responsibility that I have goes beyond just me. It touches the country, and that's the angle that I take it on. This isn't for me. This is for the office of the Prime Minister, and that sort of makes sense for me.
But constantly being surrounded by it is going to be...
When I became an MP, I rapidly realized that with the small at first staff that I had around me, I could focus on the things that I'm good at, that only I can do, and other people could do some of the more annoying stuff that people have to deal with every now and then.
But I guess the challenge for you is so much of your success through this campaign that just ended is that you've been sort of out there, with them, whether it was selfies or in the crowds, what have you. And now you're in the bubble. Well, and how do you stay true to that guy who was out there?
You say it as if it's a challenge for me. It's not a challenge for me. It's a challenge for the RCMP. Because for me, I know that my job is to stay connected to people and represent them well and serve them well. And you can't do that from locked inside a bubble. And therefore, we're going to, and I'm going to make sure that there are lots of opportunities for me to meet with people, to be outside of this car. A great example is what's going to happen this morning.
Part of today will be family as well. How have you explained this to family? Given your background, I mean, you've seen all this as a kid. You walked all those halls.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm constantly now thinking of my father's example, my mother's example, not as being Prime Minister, but being a dad, dealing with kids going through this the way, in a way similar to what we had to. I know my father and mother worked extremely hard to keep us grounded, to keep us understanding, respect, to know that, even though we lived in a bigger house than most of our friends, that didn't make us any better. And indeed, it was a responsibility we had to live in this house or in that house, and that came with it an awareness and a consciousness that I'm working very hard for our kids to understand.
It's a challenge, though, right? You've mentioned your father a couple of times, and I've asked about him, and people do all the time, right? Did you ever talk to him about the possibility of this one day?
We had awkward conversation at one point while he was ill in his final illnesses, maybe the last year of his life, where I said, "Okay, Dad, it's possible that I might end up in politics one day. What do I need to know?" And we ended up having a horrifically awkward conversation.
Awkward?
It was. He said, "Well, what do you want to know specifically?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if you want to do something that's the right thing, but banks and big businesses push back at you and they don't want you to do it. How do you deal with those kinds of pressures?" I didn't know what kind of pressures, but I could imagine a situation like that. And he sort of gave me an answer, and it was a really stilted conversation, the way we never had stilted conversations, or rarely. And then I sort of realized that everything that I ever needed to know about being Prime Minister, he had already taught me about being a good person.
Simply through his actions?
Oh, no, through the way he was as a father, how he raised us, how he raised us to be responsible, to be good, thoughtful, smart, well-meaning people. I mean, that's...
But he never said to you, "Don't do it," or
No.
"Do it, go for it"?
No, never anything like that. That wasn't the way. That wasn't the way he was. He just wanted to make sure that we lived up to our potential and that we were happy and complete in what we did.
This must be weird.
This is weird. I haven't been to 24 Sussex yet, and I won't be going in. But this is...
Not a home, but a holding area for this moment.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll see.
Great. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Next hour will be quite something.
Appreciate it.
Okay. That's great.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll see you again afterwards. Like that. I guess you have to wait till they open, right? Okay.
T'es rentré dans la maison?
Sans toi?
You guys are already in position. Look at this. Good to see you. Patty. Oh, good to see you.
Thank you.
Caroline.
Equal sentiment.
Okay, don't get me going, okay? You cried enough there.
Inside Rideau Hall, the welcome includes the Governor General, the last conversation the two men have before the swearing in. Later, it was like going to camp when the new ministers and their leader hit the bus for the ride to their first cabinet meeting. That moment when we come back with our exclusive inside look at the day.
Hello, everyone.
The Prime Minister.
Monsieur Garneau, Mr. Clark.
The swearing-in follows through on script. No slip-ups.
I, Justin P.J. Trudeau, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, her heirs and successors. So help me God.
And lots of cheering from the crowds inside and out. Not long after, a reception with many guests and many happy smiles.
AP, my friend. Thank you.
And to have the Minister of Justice be an Aboriginal.
This is turning the world on its head, which is fabulous.
Thank you.
Then to the buses. That's right, buses. For the new ministers' ride to their first cabinet meeting.
They'll tell us when we see each other. Hello, everyone.
Look at the Prime Minister.
When you turn around and look at these people who put in the cabinet, we're on a bus heading up Parliament Hill. So it has that symbolism, I guess, that it's not limos, it's bus with everybody on it. Most of everybody on it.
Let's not get too crazy about it. I mean, there will be cars and limos, and there are an awful lot of things that come with the responsibilities they had. And I'm not going to, play a false game about this. But the one thing I did want to highlight, and it's real, is that we're a team in this.
Still feels like you should be singing like some "We're Going to Camp" song here. Come by or something in the background there.
Well, you know what? Maybe that's your experience on a bus, Peter. But a lot of people take the bus every day to go to work, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Very good. All right, you got it.
The moment that you walk up onto Parliament Hill as a parliamentarian for the first time, or now as a minister for the first time, as I'm about to experience, is one to savor and to remember. And we're going to do this as a team. Often it's, most of you will have already been on Parliament Hill and walked on as a member of Parliament, but now we're going to do it the way we're going to do an awful lot of things in the coming years as a team. C'est un moment d'équipe, c'est un moment d'être ensemble pour travailler fort pour ce pays, puis c'est ce qu'on va faire, on va se rendre au travail ensemble. Allô tout le monde!
When we come back, a Google Hangout. What's that, you may ask? Well, he knows.
Tim, member 2, elementary.
Google Hangout is an online visual get-together. And before heading to his first cabinet meeting, a different meeting takes priority. The new Prime Minister goes to his office to connect with students across the country.
Alexis Christmas from Mansbridge Elementary School. And I want to congratulate you on your win.
Well, thank you very much, Alexis. I appreciate that.
And my question is, what did you enjoy most about teaching, and how can you use these skills as Prime Minister?
Oh, that's a great question. What I enjoyed most about teaching was spending every day with a broad range of great kids who always had tough questions for me and who challenged me. And a good teacher is not someone who stands up in the front of the class and gives out all the answers. A good teacher is someone who knows the challenges that their students are facing and helps them solve those challenges and get the answers.
So what I took out of that is you haven't lost the teacher moment.
Being a teacher is what I am. That's the way I see the world, the way I understand it, the way I'm constantly curious about it. And a good teacher is like a good politician. It's someone who understands the needs of the people they're supposed to serve and gives them the tools to fix their challenges.
But you never lose that.
No.
Oh, you keep that in your mind.
No, that's what I am.
You're going to go behind this door now to your first cabinet meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'd like you to look in the camera. A lot of people who voted for you have hopes and dreams of what will start happening when the decisions start being made in there. And some of those who didn't vote for you have concerns about what might happen in that room. So if you look in the camera, what's your message to all of those people today on day one?
It's that we're going to get to work. We're going to actually take the commitments that we made to Canadians, concrete commitments around deliverables on the platform, fiscal and otherwise, but also the commitments we made about the kind of government we're going to run, the kind of openness, the kind of service that we're focused on offering. And that's what we're going to remember every step of the way. And I'm counting on Canadians to remind us of that throughout. I mean, we'll have good times, we'll have tough times. Every government does go through difficult times. But as we do it, the way we approach the challenges, the mistakes, the great opportunities should be focusing on the service of Canadians that Canadians entrusted us with.
How do they remind you? How do they tell you?
Every conversation I have across the country as I get out there, as I listen to people, every letter they send, every opportunity to talk to their local MPs and tell them they're not doing good enough or they're doing great. Whenever it is, we started something in this past election of Canadians stepping up and getting involved in active, positive, non-cynical politics and putting aside all the left-right spectrum of political partisanship. Canadians have shown that they want to be involved in the kind of country we shape in an optimistic and positive way, and we're going to keep them involved.
Prime Minister, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing this.
It was a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.